Hey, how's everybody doing today? This is Mark Brody. I'm back here for another episode of Coffee Talk with Brohawk. And today I have the awesome and amazing Michael Sutter with me, and he's with Enliven Tech. Michael, can you go ahead and do a quick intro for our viewers and tell them a little bit about yourself and what you're doing?
Hey, Mark, thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it. So, Monday morning, right? Top of the morning.
Yes, exactly.
So it's great. We're kicking and doing. We're working hard, man. We're helping companies with their IT hardware needs. We are helping them with providing computer hardware, sending it to their offices and sending it to their houses. So we have all kinds of good, fun stuff going on right now.
Excellent, excellent. You've been doing this for a little bit of time too. How long you been doing this for?
Just 30 years, that's all.
30 years? Yeah.
Yeah,
It, it
shy of
just
that, right?
yeah, just a little bit of time.
Yeah, just
So
a little bit.
that's awesome. That's awesome. I know that you and I, when we first met each other, I think it was like at a CCW conference, back about 5, 6 years ago. And you and I just hit it off really well.
Yep.
Right off the bat. And fortunately we've been able to keep in contact with each other and
Right.
it's been amazing to see how your business has grown
Yep.
still over the last 5 or 6 years, even though you've been doing this for 30 years.
I know. And then I'm getting ready to take a trip to New York City to see my family, actually, with my wife and kids who've never been to Manhattan before. And then I'm heading out to Spain in the end of May. So I'm in an entrepreneurial group, EO, which is a national organization, and that's actually why I'm going to be in Austin end of this week. So we're actually the whole group's going out to Spain, about 22 of us. It should be a
Nice.
really, really cool experience. So yeah, it really helps me grow as a person and as a business owner and all that fun stuff.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Well, Mike, since you've been involved in, the hardware aspect of contact centers and just in businesses in general, what are the current challenges that, frontline agents who used to be working in an office setting have to deal with today from a desktop technology perspective?
Right. Good question. So we ask a lot of our clients the same question. I think the biggest thing is, do they have true desks at the office, right? And, at their house, I'm sorry. And if that's the case, that's always a challenge that people make up whatever kind of makeshift setup that they possibly can make up, which may not be as user friendly as, going into a work environment. That's the first thing. And the big thing really we find is internet speeds. So a lot of the people who work from home don't have the internet speed that they really need, the bandwidth to keep them up with the times, and that's a big thing too. So just a lot of distractions that we find too that we hear about from our customers who have who work from home environments, that just distractions, a lot of stuff like that.
So, so as somebody that works in the space of getting technology out to getting desktop technology out to folks, what are some ways that your organization has been able to address the challenges of the work from home agent,
Right,
um,
right.
in ways that you may not have been in ways that may not have been done in the
Yeah.
past.
So after COVID and all that, obviously everybody's been working from home for a pretty long time now at this point. So we have a program that we developed for people who work from home. It's a home deployment program. It's called Device Lifecycle Management. And what that really means is, I'll give you an example of a customer that we do it for today. We've shipped out probably 500 computer kits to
Wow.
to all of their houses. They have a very, very small IT staff, and we've helped them save a lot of money not having the IT staff have to do that. But just long story short, they provide us with a list of all the agents' addresses, and they give us a company image with, we license the computer for them, and they give us an image with that. And then the
Okay.
image consists of whatever they want on there, whatever special software to wipe the computers when the agent leaves, or if we get it back, or it's secure, right? It's called security.
Yep.
We send out all the equipment in boxes, and then we ask the client to, put them back in a box, keep the boxes if they leave, the agent,
Yep.
and we track it all. So it's camera, dual screens, monitor, I'm sorry, PC, power strip, patch cable, everything that they need, right? With
Yep.
instructions on how to set it up. And it comes with call tags so that they can actually send it back to us if they decide to, leave the company. We get it back, and then we wipe the date off it, and then we go back and redeploy it for that BPO. So a lot of
That's
BPOs
awesome.
love this type of program because it takes a lot of stuff off their plate, and we take care of it for them.
Then they're not forced to go ahead and really hire that internal infrastructure to be able
Right.
to manage all of this, all the tracking and all of the the imaging time alone
Yep.
for an internal organization that's got to take a ton of time
Yep.
and getting it deployed and whatnot. It sounds like
Licensing.
it's something that you've mastered.
Yeah, licensing and imaging is just so critical, right? And
Yeah,
when we work with a client to send them a PC or send them a laptop, and they put it in their environment, and then they load and configure it the way they want to do it, we get it back and we test it to make sure that's exactly what they want. So it's basically the beauty of it really is it's plug and play ready, right?
yeah,
It's plug and play ready for the agent, or if they decide to send the hardware back to their facility, same thing, it's already plug and play ready. No downtime.
awesome, awesome, awesome. So just kind of taking that to another level over the past 10 years or so, because I mean you've been doing this for a minute or two. What are some of the desktop experience changes or evolution that you've seen in the industry? And not necessarily just for contact centers, but obviously BPOs are a big part of your business.
Yep.
But what are some of the evolution over the last 10 years or so that you've
Right,
seen?
right, right. So some of the experiences and all that, people have deployed smaller computers, not necessarily large PCs. It cuts down on shipping costs and logistics and all that fun stuff. Also
Hmm.
cuts down on if you're shipping bigger computers, you're gonna have more chance of that getting damaged and shipping, to and from. We're also seeing that, desktop speed is not a factor. So it's advantages for us because you don't need the latest and the greatest out there to do what it is that you're trying to do. So
Hmm.
speed is not a factor when it comes to that. And I think the biggest thing really is that Windows 10 has really enhanced the user experience, right? And it gives you a lot better user experience, better quality of operations. That's a lot more stable than going back to Windows 7 and XP and all that other fun stuff. So that's changed a lot too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Windows in and of itself, I mean, the things that you can do in Windows, today, it's amazing.
Yeah,
Absolutely amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's all plug and play ready, and all the drivers are there. I remember the old days when you used to go back and install the driver and put the floppy drive in or the thumb drive, or go to the website and try to find where it is on the FTP site on the vendor, and then download the drivers for whatever. And man, it's simple and smooth today, right? No, the younger kids don't really get that, right?
We're dating ourselves. I mean, I
I
understood
know.
what you meant when you said floppy drive. I'm like, the big 5 and 3/4 inch disc or whatever,
Yeah.
or
Well,
that was literally floppy.
yeah, floppy drive, I know, right? So it's come a long way, and Windows 10 is really it's a really solid product, right?
Yes. Excellent. Excellent. So if an organization's IT leadership is charged with making sure like my operational teams are productive, what are some of the top recommendations as a hardware desktop hardware supplier that you would provide to them? If they've never explored going into using a service like yours or an organization like yours as a partner.
Right, right. So we're always talking about, good question, Mark. The quality of the computer is a big thing, right? So we always talk about consumer level equipment and business class equipment. There's a huge difference between the two. And we're always trying to educate our customers of what's the difference, right? Well,
Mhm.
consumer level stuff is stuff that you see, in a big box store and all that. So you see it today, but in 3, 4 days or a couple of weeks, you don't see that hardware anymore, right? It
Mhm.
comes and it goes, right? So that's consumer level. There's a lot more as far as durability and longevity and residual value. Residual value and longevity is on the business class side of it. So a lot of corporations today that buy equipment are buying corporate level business class equipment. So we see that equipment come back from large corporations, and then
Mhm.
we remarket and resell it. So, but the nice thing is that it's all standard. It's standardized. It's the same equipment that comes back all the time. So maybe generations of PC, maybe the generation of that laptop or that PC may change, but in retrospect, it's just the fact that they, it's a better product, right? And it's more consistent. So, like example would be, I have a nonprofit here in Cincinnati. That's where we're based out of,
Right.
And long time ago, they were buying HPs and Dells and Lenovo's. And think about like how many different power supplies that you need to try to run and configure those, right? When you're
Yep.
buying corporate level business class, you're buying all Dell or all whatever. You get the same power supplies and they're all interchangeable, right? That's a big thing.
And
So yeah. Another thing we see too is Office 365, it's all the standard platforms. So it used to be that there were some different versions and different suites and different product names that were all sort of similar, but they really weren't. And
okay.
now when you have Office 365, it's all standardized, right? Same thing like PCs. You download it
Yes.
from the web, it's all cloud-based and it's standardized. And it makes it a lot more streamlined and a lot more streamlined, a lot more effective text you run it. So your ownership costs, your technology ownership goes way down by having this because you don't have user problems, right? As
Yep.
much as you used to. Pretty simple, and it's pretty simple for an IT department to diagnose that or fix a problem.
Are you seeing a lot less bring your own device in the marketplace, or are you seeing companies as saying, yeah, we allow our agents to have their own devices, and can you help fix them or stuff like that that may occur?
Yeah, every company does it the way they want to do it. We just follow the process as far as how they want to do it. Our recommendations are recommendations for hardware and what we believe is the best hardware to get for the least amount of downtime and cost and a
Mhm.
better cost. I don't know. Every company does it differently. I really can't understand why they do it. You're right. Some companies it's BYOD, bring your own device,
Yep.
and they just and then there's other ones that they supply their own hardware to their agents.
Do you see companies that used to be BYOD making a shift to working with an organization like yours
Yeah,
to go ahead and kind of standardize what some of the problems are, so eliminating that excuse, so to speak.
I think once we can talk to them about that and how it's a lot more easier, that they tend to look at our model a lot better than
Yeah.
your own device side of it. But it's all cost perspective, right? It's that changes with everybody. I'm not sure
Well,
if
and yeah, I mean the cost of downtime has got to be extensive. In fact, as an operations guy myself,
yeah,
if I'm losing 5 FTE because they can't because their home systems are getting that blue screen of death or whatever random things that pop up, um, that's costing my clients money, that's costing me money, because I still got to pay them for the most part. So
yeah, when you look at the BYOD, the thing, you're also talking about who knows what laptop they have, who knows what's loaded
yeah,
on that, right? Who knows, if it crashes, you never really know when or where, right?
yeah.
So that's a big factor too that I don't always recommend it, but that's, people do what they got to do, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Um, so have you started seeing operational leaders? We kind of started to dive into this a minute ago. Have you seen more operational leaders getting more involved in the desktop solution that their agents are having, as opposed to just working specifically with IT with the IT departments?
Right.
Are you seeing ops folks getting more involved?
I think they're more involved in it with just, yeah, I think they're more involved in it with the security side of it, right? If it's a
Mhm.
work from home thing, they've got to be more, on top of security compliancy, going out to people's houses. Or let's say the agent leaves, the company, then they could just send out push out a notice, whatever, and wipe the machine or wipe that partition on that
Mhm.
machine that the agent uses. So I think they're involved in that more when it comes to that. It's more complex, than it used to be if you're doing it that way.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. And I also feel like I see a lot of operational leaders not having so many levels and so many structures of PCs or laptops out there. There used to be a lot of times there's your executive level staff, and then there's your middle staff, and then there's your whatever you want to call it. You're not as what's the word I'm looking for? Um, urgent kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So there's different levels. I think there's not as many levels of PCs. I think what a lot of these um, operational leaders are doing is they're stacking up a little more memory. They're stacking up a little bit bigger hard drives on these machines, and that's helping them with just handle a lot of that. That's why they're more involved, because they have to handle that a little bit. They're involved in that more.
Yeah. I mean, your frontline operations folks are your frontline, your level one
Yep.
tech support.
Yep.
So they have to know what's going on. You have to have that level of standardization for sure. Um, are there any other initiatives that your company is putting out there or pushing out there right now that you're seeing as being really value add in the marketplace?
For us, it's really, providing companies with on-site inventory, right? So let's say you buy 100 PCs, we may give you 5 of them just to put in your closet that are already like plug and play ready. You pull it out if something happens to one of them, boom, it's already set, ready to go, right? You
Yep.
know, we there's no downtime in that, so it goes back to looking at your ownership cost and cutting that down for you. I see that. And then, we have an advanced replacement program. If companies don't want to take advantage of that, that's basically, if something happens to a PC or a laptop
Mhm.
and you need a replacement, we can get it out to you within 24 hours. But I always recommend the on-site replacement. It's there, it's on your facility, it's simple, it's ready to go. You don't have to mess around with calling us. You will eventually, but we'll take
Yeah,
care of it either way. And we give a 1-year warranty on all our equipment. That's the biggest thing.
that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. Yeah, because as typically, it's within those first few months that you start seeing problems, that are arising on different systems. I love the fact that you have a solution um, that really helps a customer of yours or client of yours um, really focus on the standardization and helps them troubleshoot a lot more efficiently and effectively. Because I mean, time is money.
Right. Same thing too. So some customers just want us to ship parts to them. We do that, or we can offer them a parts cabinet, which basically is a little cabinet of SSGs and memory or whatever it might be, power supplies for
Mhm.
those laptops, or power supplies for desktops, and they keep it in the cabinet. And that's why, when you have an IT staff that can handle some of this stuff, if there are issues,
Yeah,
it's technology, right? You're not going to not have issues with technology. I don't care if it's new or whatever it might be, right? Or even
exactly.
a brand new car or whatever. And they can pull that stuff and quickly react to something like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Man. Well, hey, Michael, we've gotten just about to the end of our conversation, and I have this thing called that I like to call a speed round.
Okay.
So
Yeah, okay.
you ready for this?
All right. I'm ready.
All right. So what fact about Michael would people be surprised to learn?
Surprise. Well, I thought about this a little bit, and I was thinking I had a heart attack about 7, 8 years ago.
Oh man.
So, and no, I'm good. I'm fine. I'm fine. It was a real awakening to life, I guess, as far as like, having that happen and thinking that never happened to me. So I
Yeah.
guess a lot of people always ask me and they say, so like, what was that like kind of thing? And I always try to tell people it's like, if you feel like that you ever have an issue when it comes to breathing or short of breath and it lasts a really long time, don't be like a typical guy, right? And
Yes.
slough it off and say that, go get checked or whatever the case. So that was a big thing for me actually. So a lot of people don't know that, right?
I think it's a great reminder and you know, whether you're male or female, pay attention to what your body's telling you.
Yeah, you
And
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I'm 56, so I mean, it really have a little bit of history in our family, but I think it's just eating right, taking care of yourself, and I think if something was to happen, really just go back and get it checked out, right?
there you go. There you go. You're too young for those things to
I
start
know.
happening
Yeah, right. I
and
know.
creating.
I'm halfway through my life, right? I lived 100 and something, right?
There you go. There you go. What were those commercials when we were growing up? About Dan and yogurt. You just
Yeah.
eat Dan and yogurt, and not. And this is not a spot for Dan and yogurt. I'm just saying.
Yeah, right. Be careful. Be careful, Mark.
Exactly, exactly. So, what is your ideal off the grid location, where you just kind of go just to relax, and just kind of defrag, so to speak?
Right. Gatlinburg, Tennessee. You ever heard of it?
Really? Yeah, I have. I have.
Awesome place. Cool
Oh,
cabins out in the woods, bears,
yes.
hiking, trails, all kinds of fun stuff. Good history out there as well. I love going out there. It's about 4 hour, 5 hour drive from Cincinnati, but I encourage you, or if you've never been there before, check it out.
Excellent. I actually my in-laws love Gatlinburg.
Do they? Okay, cool.
Yes. Yeah, going through the mountains. I mean that's where my mother-in-law would spend all of her time, if she could.
If
So
you, yeah, it's
yeah.
cool.
So
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Now it is. Now I know we just talked about heart attacks and health, so
Hey,
this question is going to be a little bit different. So because it is Girl Scout cookie season,
uh,
what's your favorite flavor?
I had somebody come to my house last night actually wanted to sell me some cookies. I like the thin mints, but
Yes,
I think all the Girl Scout cookies are really good, except and if you freeze them, makes them even better.
yes,
You ever
yes.
froze them? You ever froze them?
Oh, the Thin Mints all the time, and the peanut butter, the tagalongs. Oh man, forget about it.
Yep.
You know,
Yep. No, hey, you know what? You still could eat that, right? Even if you had health issues, it's just, everything's in moderation, right?
yes, definitely, definitely. I always say, one for me, one for you,
One
two
for
for
you.
me, one for you. Nah, yeah. That's my level of moderation. So, hey, Michael, if someone wants to pick your brain about some of the technology issues that they may be having when it comes to their desktop services, or just want to, possibly explore partnering with you and your company, how could they get in contact with you?
Yeah, right, right, right. So phone number 513-617-4822, 513-617-4822, or happy to visit our website.
Mhm.
It's enlivenedtech.com, Enlivened, enlivenedtech.com. And my email address is on there. Email me anytime. We're around probably between 8 to 8 every day, even on weekends too. So if somebody has any questions, feel free to drop me a note, or, just want to say hi. Absolutely.
There you go. There you go, Michael. You're truly one of the great guys to just sit down and just have a conversation with also. And I appreciate it, and I
Yeah,
appreciate your time on Coffee Talk. If
absolutely.
anybody that's watching this wants me to make connection between you and Michael, feel free to go ahead and reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to do so. Um, I believe in the services that Michael and his company provides, not just now, but
Yep.
historically for over 30 years.
Yep.
And this is it's a great service to contact center community, and not just the contact center community, but any business that has um, technology desktop issues. Definitely partner with my friend Michael Sutter,
Can I
and
say one
he'll
more
get
thing?
you hooked up.
Can I say one more thing, Mark?
Of course.
One thing people also may want to think about is sustainability and recycling. And we do a lot of that too, where we bring back old equipment back into our
Mhm.
facility. Either we go on site and shred hard drives if that needs to be
Yep.
done for some data security, and we'll decommission servers and decommission racking and all that fun stuff. And the other thing is that we just make sure that the stuff doesn't end up in a landfill, right? So we've got really good recycle partners that will, uh, grind up grind up hard drives and memory and all that fun stuff, and separate plastic and metal and copper and gold and all that, and be able to re-recycle that. And whatever is not able to recycle, we can also remarket and resell. And maybe there's money back in that we can offer back to the customer. It happens all the time. So
That's awesome. That's
yeah,
awesome. Yeah, we definitely wanted to make sure that was included because you know, heck, too often you find companies that have closets
yep.
full of old stuff, and they're just like, I don't know what we're gonna do with this.
Well, I say this though, I always say this as precaution, right? That's the case. I see that all the time too. But you have to realize, like, there's sensitive data on those, and if there is, I mean, you got to just make sure that you eradicate the drives, the data on the
Yep.
drives, and like a company like mine, we can provide you with a DoD certificate, and we can provide you also with, the whole chain of custody of how that gets done. So I know maybe we've talked about this earlier, but we're offering the whole life cycle. It's not just selling you hardware and we're done. It's, selling it, getting it back, remarket it, reselling it, or recycling it. So
I love that, and I love the way you just phrase that, the full life cycle of technology.
mhm,
And it's something that people really need to think about as part of their strategy for sure.
absolutely. Yeah. There's money in that too. So, yeah.
Excellent. Well, Michael, thank you very much again. I appreciate you being a guest on Coffee Talk with Brohawk,
Thank
and
you.
we look forward to chatting with you again here soon.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks everybody for tuning in.